tonight, in a not-so-distant dystopia, a burned-out worker disappears in the hopes of outsmarting the system. But can he really survive going off the grid? Alex stared blankly at his computer screen, eyes gazing over as he mindlessly clicked through spreadsheets. The office was sterile and oppressively quiet, with rows of cubicles extending endlessly under harsh fluorescent lights. A chat window popped up on Alex's screen. It was his co-worker, Tim. "How's it going over there in Spreadsheet City?" Tim messaged. Alex sighed and typed back, "Oh, you know, living the dream as always. Hang in there. Only 3 more hours until we're free for the glorious weekend," Tim replied. As if on cue, another message flashed urgently on Alex's screen. It was from his boss, Linda. "My office in 5 minutes for performance review." Alex's stomach dropped. He knew this couldn't be good. Over the last few months, he'd felt himself slipping at work, his productivity declining. But he assumed no one had really noticed. Just then, another message window emerged. This time, a credit card company. "Friendly reminder, your minimum payment is due today. Please log in to your account to process payment and avoid penalty fees." Alex suppressed a groan. Between his credit card bills, student loans and rent, it felt like he was drowning financially. He could barely keep his head above water, even with this corporate salary. Apprehensively, Alex made his way to Linda's office. She was seated at her desk, eyes glued to her computer screen. "Have a seat, Alex," she said coolly, not looking up. "I wanted to touch base regarding your performance over the last few quarters," Linda continued. "As you can see in this data report compiled by our new AI talent management system, your productivity has decreased 23%, and your accuracy is down 15%. I'm concerned you may no longer be a culture fit for our high-performance expectations." Alex shifted uncomfortably as Linda rattled off statistics and metrics with brutal precision. Her manner was cold and detached, like an algorithm made flesh. "I understand," Alex replied carefully. "It's been a difficult time personally, but I can assure you I'm committed to turning things around. I'll put in more hours, whatever it takes." Linda shook her head. "Unfortunately, given our highly competitive environment, We require consistently high productivity. Consider this your written warning. Without significant improvement within 2 quarters, we'll have to part ways. Alex felt the walls closing in on him. He needed this job. It was his lifeline, barely keeping his head above water. There were no other options. At nearly 40 years old, without specialized skills or an Ivy League education, he was as dispensable as any faulty cog in the corporate machine. Of course, I understand, Alex responded, defeat creeping into his voice. Thank you for the feedback. He slumped back to his cubicle, head spinning. How had he gotten to this point? When he was younger, work had been a source of pride and purpose. Now, it was a grind, an endless race of metrics and performance reviews. Tim messaged again. Everything okay? You were in there a while. Alex typed back. Just a standard performance review. Between me and you, though. Keep an eye out and update the resume. There may be another round of restructuring coming, Tim responded. Noted. This place is a pressure cooker. Alex powered down his computer and headed for the elevators. Relieved the work week was over. As he walked outside, dazzling electronic billboards flashed personalized ads based on his identity chip. 50% off on Armani suits for Alex K. 0% APR credit card offer today only for Alex K. He averted his eyes, quickening his pace. He just wanted to get away, find a hole to crawl into where the cameras and data trafficking couldn't find him, at least for a little while. Alex wandered aimlessly through the streets, letting the crowds carry him along. Looming video boards and holographic ads assaulted him from every surface. An endless cacophony of consumerist demands. Ducking down a side alley to escape the sensory overload, Alex came across a small, hole-in-the-wall bar, tucked away from the high-tech hubbub. The faded sign read, Max Tavern. He decided this was as good a place as any to disappear for a few hours. Inside, the bar was pleasingly antiquated, all scuffed wood and dim mood lighting. A handful of patrons, mostly middle-aged, nursed their drinks scattered around worn vinyl booths. In one corner, an old-fashioned jukebox crooned 80s rock ballads. Alex took a seat at the bar. The bartender, a burly man with a bushy beard, walked over. "What'll it be?" he asked, in a gravelly voice. "I'll just take a pint of whatever's on tap," Alex replied. The bartender nodded, sliding over an ice-cold beer. As Alex sipped his drink, his eyes closed against the chill. He felt someone settle onto the stool next to him. He glanced over to see a man about his age, dressed all in black. He had an intense but thoughtful air about him. Something about the man's presence made Alex strangely at ease. "Rough day?" the man asked, casually. Alex huffed a laugh. "Rough is more like it. But who isn't struggling these days?" The man nodded sympathetically. "The game's rigged, my friend. The corporate machine demands more while giving less. It's designed to grind us down, keep us compliant." Alex raised an eyebrow, surprised to hear a stranger vocalize his innermost thoughts. "It wasn't always like this, you know," the man continued. "There are ways out, if you're willing to walk away from it all." "What do you mean?" Alex asked cautiously. The man turned, staring at Alex with icy blue eyes. "My name's Oliver. Let's just say I'm uniquely positioned to help people disappear, reclaim their lives." Alex noticed for the first time a jagged scar behind Oliver's ear, and the barcode tattoo on his inner wrist did not display an ID number. Alex's eyes widened in realization. This man was off the grid, untraceable. Oliver seemed to read Alex's thoughts. He grinned cryptically. "Like I said, there are ways out, but only for those truly desperate enough to cut all ties and never look back." Alex's pulse quickened at the possibilities swirling before him. The system was breaking him, little by little each day. He wasn't sure how much more he could take. Still, could he really walk away from everything and everyone he knew? Alex wavered, torn between his old life and the terrifying freedom this stranger offered. It was close to midnight when Alex finally arrived home to his sleek high-rise apartment. As he entered, smooth jazz piping over surround sound speakers immediately quieted to a gentle background hum. "Welcome home, Alex," cooed a soothing female voice from the ceiling speakers. It was the AI system installed in every room, Mira. "How was your day today?" "Oh, you know," Alex sighed as he collapsed onto his sofa. "Same old grind," Mira responded with some concern. "Your serotonin levels seem low. Might I suggest a calming lavender bath, followed by 30 minutes of yoga? That usually improves your mood." "Not tonight, Mira. I think I just need rest." Alex felt too exhausted even to be creeped out by the AI's ever-watchful tracking of his emotional states. "Of course. Let me know if I can help in any way," Mira said kindly. "You have an incoming call from Emily. Shall I answer?" Alex sat up, rubbing his eyes. A call from his sister this late was unusual. "Yes, please answer." Mira patched through the call, and Emily's distraught face appeared on the video screen across from Alex. Behind her was the interior of a hospital room. "Alex, I'm so glad I caught you," Emily said hurriedly. "It's Mom. The doctors don't think she'll make it through the night." Alex felt like he'd been punched in the gut. Their mother had been battling cancer for the past year, but he hadn't realized the end was so near. Guilt washed over him for not visiting recently. "Okay, I'll come right away," Alex managed, climbing to his feet. He had never felt so lost and alone. He stumbled to the door in a daze. As it slid open, Mira's soothing voice followed him. "Wishing you strength during this difficult time. Please let me know if I can call a self-driving car or order food deliveries." For once, the AI's attempts to smooth life's hard edges only heightened Alex's sense of disconnect. In his grief, Mira's calmly rational tone felt jarringly inhumane. Alex raced to the hospital, heart pounding as he ran through sterile white hallways to the strobe-lit signage indicating the premium care ward. He stopped short at the entrance. The ward was only accessible to those who paid a premium subscription for uninterrupted service. Of course, Alex realized bitterly. Even at the brink of death, nothing was sacred apart from profit. Reluctantly, he entered the regular wing where his mother lay dying. Immediately upon approaching her room, a chatbot popped up with a chirpy greeting. "Hello, valued visitor. Please enjoy this quick 30-second ad before entering." Alex felt rage simmering in his gut. He didn't have time for this. However, unable to enter the room, he waited for the advert to finish. Inside, Emily sat holding their mother's frail hand. At the sound of Alex entering, his mother stirred, turning her head slightly to look at her son. Behind the oxygen mask, Alex glimpsed the faintest hint of a smile. "Alex," she murmured weakly. As Alex rushed to her bedside, her eyes slowly closed and the heart rate monitor flatlined. "No, no," Alex choked through tears. The medical team rushed in, but he already knew it was too late. Emily embraced him. As they both sobbed, the perky chatbot chimed in again. "We hope you enjoyed your visit. Please rate your experience." Alex stormed out, unable to contain his fury. In that moment, something snapped inside him. He knew with sudden clarity that he could not stay in this system. He had to get out, whatever the cost. A few weeks later, Alex found himself descending by elevator into the depths of a nondescript warehouse on the outskirts of the city. He had contacted Oliver and agreed to meet, ready to accept the mysterious man's proposition to disappear. When the elevator doors slid open, Alex stepped out warily into a basement workshop, cluttered with computers and equipment whose purpose he could only guess at. Oliver sat waiting, his expression unreadable. "So you're ready then?" Oliver asked. "You do realize, if you go through with this, there is no coming back. Your old life will cease to exist. Friends, family, identity. You'll never see them again." Alex nodded. "I'm sure. There's nothing left for me here." Oliver eyed him a long moment before seeming satisfied. He motioned Alex over to a computer. "Let me walk you through how this works." Bringing up an encrypted file, Oliver explained. "We replace your entire digital footprint. Records, biometrics, the unique chip ID code implanted in every citizen. As far as the system will be concerned, Alex K. will have vanished without a trace." He continued, "We'll provide you with a forged identity, untraceable cryptocurrency, and transportation to start over in a city of your choosing. Seattle, Denver, Vancouver. Anywhere far from here." Alex's head spun, realizing this could actually work. He could walk away and never look back, just as Oliver promised. Still, a sliver of doubt lingered. And what do you get out of all this?" Alex asked. "Why take such a risk to help strangers disappear?" Oliver's lips tightened. "Let's just say I have my reasons to undermine the system. Reasons I'd rather not get into." His tone made it clear that line of questioning was off limits. Alex considered a moment. He was in too deep to back out now. This was his only chance at freedom. "Okay, I'm in," Alex said resolutely. "Whatever it takes." Oliver grinned. "Congratulations. As of now, Alex K. is as good as dead." Alex fidgeted anxiously in a dental chair as the final preparations were made for his disappearance. Oliver had brought him into a discreet clinic run by a man he called the Surgeon, who specialized in removing identity chips. "So, John, are you ready to join the invisible ranks?" the surgeon asked with a twisted smile. His delight in erasing legal identities gave Alex chills. But there was no turning back now. As ready as I'll ever be, Alex responded. The surgeon leaned over him, scalpel glinting under the harsh fluorescent lights. As the blade approached his gum line, Alex had the unsettling sense he was being watched. His eyes darted around and landed on a video camera tucked away in the corner. He wondered why the surgeon was filming this. Before Alex could object, searing pain bloomed from his jaw. Before Alex could object, searing pain bloomed from behind his ear as the surgeon dug out his ID chip in one quick slicing motion. Alex cried out, but it was done. He was now just a face in the crowd, another unimportant stranger named John, a ghost. Panting through the pain, Alex sat up slowly. The surgeon dropped the microchip, Alex's entire identity, into a medical waste bin without ceremony. Oliver appeared and tossed Alex a duffel bag.
Time to go. I've transferred you some credits to get you set up and booked transport. This is where we part ways, John.
Alex nodded, still in a daze. Thank you for everything.
Good luck out there,
Oliver said. Was that a flicker of pity in his eyes? Before Alex could be sure, Oliver turned and was gone. Clutching his Ford credentials, Alex, now John, stepped out of the clinic and into his new life. John watched the landscape rushing past through the window of the self-driving train. It had been years since he left home, or whatever you call the place you came from, where you no longer had an identity or past. He was heading to another new city, one he had never seen or set foot in before. But that was the point. To keep moving and blending in with the anonymous crowds, never staying too long to leave a trace. As the train pulled into the station, John shouldered his lone duffel bag and stepped out tentatively. Sleek skyscrapers shone like metal. Autonomous vehicles streamed by on all sides. Using the untraceable crypto wallet set up by Oliver, John purchased a night stay at a smart assisted apartment building downtown. "Happy to have you with us, valued guest," chirped a robotic concierge that greeted him in the lobby. "Please enjoy this complimentary hologram tour of the amenities." John forced a polite smile. He was struck by how normal it all felt. How easily he blended into this world while no one knew him or cared who he was. But instead of the old familiar dread, he felt nothing. Strange sense of numb acceptance had set in. Up in his sterile corporate apartment, bereft of any personal mementos or touches, John pondered how long he could drift on like this, nameless, rootless, trying to outrun a past that clung to him like a shadow. There had to be more to life than just survival, but he didn't know where to begin looking. By chance one day, John happened upon a community centre hosting a seminar titled Reclaiming Our Humanity in an AI-Driven World. On a whim, with nothing better to do, he decided to stop by. The small function room held about 24 people. John slid discreetly into a seat at the back just as the seminar began. A woman with flowing dark hair and intense brown eyes stepped up to address the room. "Friends," she began, her voice rich with emotion. "We live in an age where our innermost selves are violated and laid bare before the algorithms thirsty for data. Our choices are no longer our own." Murmurs of assent rippled through the crowd. John sat up, intrigued by the raw passion in the woman's words. "But we cannot let them win," she continued ardently. "We must fight to reclaim our privacy and our autonomy, to prove we do not exist just to be harvested by the machine." Her closing words roused the audience to their feet with resounding applause. John found himself standing too, drawn by her fiery spirit. As the crowd dispersed, the woman noticed John lingering shyly by the wall. She smiled warmly, walking over to him. "I don't think we've met. I'm Sophia," she said, her brown eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Did you just move to the area?" "I'm John," he replied simply, not offering more. "And, yes, I'm new here. You gave quite a speech." Sophia laughed. "Well, I tend to get a little carried away sometimes, but these issues are so important to me. We have to wake society up to what's happening before our humanity is lost completely." John nodded thoughtfully. "I used to feel that way, like I was a cog in a machine. That's when I knew I had to make a change, no matter how difficult. Start over somewhere new." "That's incredibly brave," Sophia said, studying him in a searching gaze. "Leaving it all behind to seek a more authentic life. Not many have the courage." John shifted self-consciously under her interest. No one had looked at him, really seen him, in a very long time. "Listen, a few of us are meeting tomorrow night to discuss plans for an off-grid community," Sophia continued. "Free from technology's grip, centered on sustaining life. It's in the early stages, but I think you'd have valuable insight. Would you join us?" Taken aback by the invitation, John hesitated, but something in Sophia's hopeful expression compelled him to agree. A chance for a fresh start, a life with meaning. Maybe it was possible after all. "I'd like that," John said. Sophia smiled radiantly. For the first time, since he could ever remember, John felt a glimmer of hope. John waited in a shadowy parking garage, checking his watch. He had received an encrypted message from Oliver requesting an urgent late-night meeting. His first contact since helping John disappear months ago. Footsteps echoed behind him, and John turned to see Oliver approaching. His expression grim. John's stomach dropped, sensing something was very wrong. "I'm sorry to call you like this after so long," Oliver began without preamble. "But I have no choice. I need you to do a job for me." John frowned, wary. What kind of job? Oliver paced. "The surgeon. He's been recording the identity exchanges, threatening to leak the footage if I don't pay him off. I can't leave loose ends that could expose my operation or, more importantly, you." John's blood ran cold, realizing where this was headed. "What exactly are you asking me to do?" he whispered. Oliver turned, his eyes hard. "I'm asking you to clean up this mess, by whatever means necessary. Believe me, it's him or us. I've transferred credits to make it worth your while." John reeled at the enormity of it. He thought he had left this shady world behind. Could he really consider cold-blooded murder, even to protect his own freedom? "Come on, this is your new life we're talking about," Oliver pressed. "And you know too much now. You really want to make an enemy of me?" John's mind raced, searching desperately for another way. But he saw none. Once in this underworld, the only way out was to sink deeper and deeper. With his soul sickened, John finally nodded. It was the only path to survival. He had no choice but to follow it to its bitter end. John sat parked outside the surgeon's house, watching the windows. He had been waiting nearly 2 hours for any sign of movement, gripping the steering wheel with clammy palms. The gun lay heavy in his lap. Finally, around midnight, the front door opened. Keeping to the shadows, John slipped from the car and crossed the quiet street. The surgeon slipped onto his porch for a smoke break, oblivious. With his heart hammering wildly, John raised the gun and took aim at the back of the man's head. His finger tightening on the trigger, ready to end this. Then the surgeon turned slightly, bringing his face into view. John glimpsed his tired eyes, lines etched from a lifetime of worry and stress. In a flash of empathy, John saw himself in this man. Just another person trying to survive in a ruthless world. His hands began to shake. The gun wavered and dropped. John stumbled back into the darkness, breaths ragged. He couldn't do it, no matter what was at stake. He refused to extinguish another life and deepen his own damnation. Driving aimlessly, John knew he only had one option left: to find Sophia and explain everything. She was his sole chance at redemption. John arrived unannounced at Sophia's door, desperation clawing at his throat. He wanted to tell her the truth about his past. She might be his final hope. The door swung open, and Sophia's smile faded as she took in his disheveled, hollowed-eyed appearance. "John? What's going on?" she asked with concern. "Sophia," John began shakily, "there are parts of my story I never told you. You're the only one I can trust now." Sophia ushered him inside, her expression etched with worry. Haltingly, John confessed everything. His real identity, how he came to disappear, Oliver's unthinkable request. The words poured out until he had nothing left. "I know I've made unforgivable choices," John finished, voice breaking. "But I can't live this lie anymore. Whatever happens, I want you to know the real me." Sophia was silent for a long moment, taking it all in. Finally, she spoke. "The past is done. What matters now is the future you choose each day." She took his hands in hers. "You still have a chance to redeem yourself. Become the person you want to be. I will help you." Overwhelmed with relief, John pulled her into a fierce embrace. With Sophia's help, he could still find absolution, a second chance. Suddenly, a floorboard creaked behind them. Whirling around, John's blood turned to ice. Oliver loomed in the doorway, gun leveled at them. I'm sorry it had to be this way," Oliver said coldly. "You should have finished the job." John stepped protectively in front of Sophia. After all he had survived, would this be the end? John stared down the barrel of Oliver's gun, shielding Sophia. He had finally told the truth, only to face his death. "Please," John begged. "I made a mistake, But no one needs to get hurt. Oliver's face remained impassive.
It's too late for that.
His finger tightened on the trigger. Suddenly, the front door crashed open. The surgeon burst in, wielding a taser. Oliver whirled in surprise, distracted long enough for Sophia to seize his arm and knock the gun away. It clattered to the floor. Oliver's icy facade had cracked, replaced by disbelief at being caught so off guard. How? Oliver muttered. The surgeon stepped forward.
You shouldn't have sent an amateur to do your dirty work, he said with grim satisfaction. Once he failed to finish the job, I knew you'd come for me yourself. So I set a trap with help from an insider.
He nodded to Sophia. John turned to her in amazement. Sophia had been working with the surgeon on many projects. Her passion for justice was more than just words. She had risked her life to back it with action. As Oliver was led away by the surgeon, Sophia slipped her hand into John's. It's over now, she said softly. He won't hurt you anymore. John pulled her close, awash with gratitude for this remarkable woman who saw the good in him when he could not see it himself. With her by his side, he could finally stop running and start living.